failed to fulfill the promises. Karnataka Health Minister, however, downplays and says that this is very affordable. This is not a burden on the people. These are affordable prices. It's not a big issue. This is what the Karnataka Health Minister said. Listen in.
ಅದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಇದೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಏನು ವಿಷಯ ಏನಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನನಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ.
Now, this is not the first time that we are seeing, prices being hiked and taxes being levied across the state of Karnataka. Just a couple of days ago, we did see how there was a cess that was being levied on all the water bills across the state of Karnataka. And that time too, the major opposition party in the state of Karnataka, the BJP, had said that this is being done because the Congress made a lot of promises, they gave a lot of guarantees, but none of those things could be fulfilled. And now it's the people who are made to suffer across the state of Karnataka. In fact, let me tell you, the Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Karnataka, D.K. Shivkumar, was in fact in Maharashtra. And he said that he will be inviting all the BJP leaders to come to the state of Karnataka to see how well all the guarantees have been implemented. My colleague Sagai is now joining me on the story. Sagai, medical facilities will get costlier. Now, one can debate whether they'll get very costly or whether it will be affordable. But the fact of the matter is that the prices will be increased between 10 to 30%.
As you rightly pointed out, the prices will be increased up to 10 to 100% because few prices has been increased 150%. For an example, 10 rupees charges the registration fees in the government hospital has been increased to 20 rupees, like 100% increase. But the health minister Dinesh Gundurao has justified this particular move, stating that these prices were raised a few years back, and there is huge difference between then and now. And these prices are affordable, and it is not going to have a huge burden on common people. But the question is, who are the people who visit government hospital most of the time? People who visit from the village, people who travel from their village to Bengaluru to get treatment at big hospital like Victoria Hospital here in the city. So these are the people who spend a lot of money on their traveling, come here and get admitted in the hospital, undergo treatment. And definitely these people, even if it is 10 rupees more for these medical charges, is going to be a burden. But we need to wait and watch how the opposition is going to take this forward, how they're going to catch in the situation, if they're going to slam the Karnataka Congress government on this increased prices.
Sagai, do you believe the kind of increase of taxes that we have seen across the state of Karnataka, do you believe it is because the guarantees are not fulfilled, or do you believe that the prices were not increased for quite some time and now because of rationalization we are seeing the increase in the prices?
If you notice, the health minister Dinesh Gundurao has categorically mentioned this has not been increased because of guarantee schemes. These are routine process, and he has also shared the instances where even in the past, the governments which were there in the power, they have also increased the prices of medical charges, and whereas the other department as well. And this is not something new. Just because the Karnataka Congress government has introduced these guarantee schemes, the opposition will target, saying that the government is spending a lot of money on this, and probably that is the reason that they are increasing prices on the other departments as well, especially the water, as you mentioned, electricity and other stuff. But the government has categorically mentioned that there is no relation between the guarantee schemes and this, because the minimal charges on the medical admission or medical expenditure which has been increased is around 10 rupees to 20 rupees, which people can afford.
For giving us those details, but at the moment the reality coming in from the state of Karnataka is that the medical facilities across the state will get costlier for the citizens of the state of Karnataka. Russia-Ukraine war, which is escalating. There has been a massive escalation after Ukraine attacked Russia once again. Ukraine has now fired UK-supplied Storm Shadow missile at targets inside Russia for the first time since the war began. The war-torn country had previously restricted to using long-range missiles within its own borders. Ukraine also used United States-supplied Army tactical missile systems, which struck targets deep inside Russia. The US Embassy in Kyiv has announced a temporary closure following specific intelligence that there could be a large-scale air attack that is expected amid fears of the escalation taking place between Russia and Ukraine. In fact, the embassy has also urged US citizens in Ukraine to prepare for potential air raid alerts and also to take all the necessary precautions possible.
Друге, є новий пакет підтримки від Америки, обсяг $275 мільйонів. В пакеті безпілотники, снаряди для хаймарсів та артилерії. Дуже важливо міни, щоб зупиняти російські штурми. Це дійсно посилить наших хлопців на фронті. І це вже 70-й оборонний пакет від Сполучених Штатів Америки. Україна цінує двопартійну підтримку Америки і рішення президента Байдена. Дякую. Третє. Говорив сьогодні з прем'єр-міністром Польщі Дональдом Туском, подякував за всю надану підтримку від перших днів вторгнення.
Saw the security alert that went out early this morning, overnight our time. The embassy put that alert out based on a possible threat of a significant attack on Kyiv. Something that we take very seriously and led to the temporary change in posture at the embassy. We expect the embassy to return to normal operations tomorrow. I can't get into obviously the specifics of the threat, but it's something that we always monitor closely. We take the safety and security of our personnel it's very important to us. We take it extremely seriously, and that's what led to the change in posture today, and we expect it to resume normal operations tomorrow.
Now, over the past 48 hours, there has been a dangerous escalation between Russia-Ukraine conflict. It is the United States that has now temporarily shut down its embassy in Kyiv and is asking all the personnel to move closer to bomb shelters. Air alert sirens could be heard even hours after Ukraine fired 6 United States-made army tactical missiles 100 kilometers inside Russia, targeting an ammunition depot. The US, in a major policy shift, has now authorized the supply of anti-personnel mines to Ukraine, and many see this as a large effort to stall the steady advance of Russian forces in the east.
Air alert sirens were heard through the day on Wednesday in Kyiv and other cities in Ukraine, hours after Ukraine fired 6 US-made army tactical missile systems into Russia on late Tuesday. Russia saw the firing of the ATACMs as a major escalation and claimed to have shot down 5 missiles and partially damaging the 6th. Amidst reports of a Russian ammunition depot being set ablaze in Bryansk, approximately 120 kilometers from the Ukraine border. Russia blamed both US and UK for the escalation.
50 days after the start of a special military operation where the losses in the Ukrainian armed forces were not yet that significant, the hostilities had every chance of ending if it hadn't been for the interference of a British Prime Minister who convinced Zelensky that he should continue fighting, that he would have Western support and weaponry, and he will thus be able to inflict a strategic defeat on Russia.
The US-made army tactical missiles were launched as Russian President Vladimir Putin signed a decree of lowering the threshold of Russian response to even a conventional strike, including the use of nuclear weapons. The Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky blamed Russia for continuing warmongering.
1,000 days, I think it's enough to understand that Putin doesn't want any peace. They didn't present peace strategy. Did you hear it? Did you read about it? No, of course. Of course, nuclear weapons strategy. Because he wants just to make chaos in the world. He wants to destroy Ukraine not only, and some other countries of NATO.
The US embassy in Kyiv was shut down as a precautionary measure amidst reports of a heightened threat of a Russian airstrike.
I'm better.
You are a hell of a lot better.
In a second major policy shift, US President Joe Biden also authorized the supply of anti-personnel mines to Ukraine.
Courage as he has determination. Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin.
The supply of anti-personnel mines is very significant amidst apprehensions that Russian forces may launch a massive strike in the east. In recent weeks, Russian forces have made steady progress in occupying additional Ukrainian territory in the Donetsk region. More than 1,000 days into the conflict, despite US and NATO help, Russia is gaining ground in Ukraine.
There's irresponsible rhetoric coming from Russia, and that is not going to deter our support for Ukraine. I've been doubling down in my clear message that we need to ensure that Ukraine has what is needed for as long as is needed to win this war against Putin.
The Russia-Ukraine war appears to escalate, with both sides seeking to take additional territory before possible negotiations after Donald Trump enters White House post January 20th, 2025. Ukraine claims there are more than 11,000 North Korean troops undergoing training, ready to join battle in the Kursk region. Russia has retaken close to half the territory lost. Ukraine is desperate to hold on to some territory to use as a bargaining chip ahead of negotiations. For both Russia and Ukraine, the war is entering a very critical phase and looks set to escalate. Bureau Report, India Today.
News that's coming in from the war front that is taking place between Ukraine and Russia. This massive escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine has now fired UK's Storm Shadow into Russia. Ukraine's armed forces fired British cruise missiles at the military targets inside Russia for the first time since the war began. This development comes after US supplied long-range army tactical missile systems and struck targets inside Russia. Now, this is the support that the United States as well as the United Kingdom, they have been giving to Ukraine. And now we are seeing it is Ukraine that has fired British cruise missiles at military targets inside Russia.
Друге, є новий пакет підтримки від Америки, обсяг $275 мільйонів. В пакеті безпілотники, снаряди для хаймарсів та артилерії. Дуже важливо міни, щоб зупиняти російські штурми. Це дійсно посилить наших хлопців на фронті. І це вже 70-й оборонний пакет від Сполучених Штатів Америки. Україна цінує двопартійну підтримку Америки і рішення президента Байдена. Дякую. Третє. Говорив сьогодні з прем'єр-міністром Польщі Дональдом Туском, подякував за всю надану підтримку від перших днів вторгнення.
News that's coming in from the state of Karnataka. The medical facilities in Karnataka hospitals are all set to get costlier. The OPD, IPD charges in major government hospitals across the state of Karnataka are all set to get costlier. The treatment cost in Bengaluru government has been hiked by 10 to 30%. Is now Karnataka bearing the brunt of Congress guarantees? Karnataka Health Minister is downplaying people's plight. Minister said this is not a burden on the people. These are affordable prices. It's not a big issue.
ಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವು ಯೂಸರ್ ಫೀಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಆಗಿರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದನ್ನೇನಾದರೂ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ 10%, 20% ಈ ಥರ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದ್ದು ಈಗ 10 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇರೋದನ್ನು 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಮಾಡೋದು, 20 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇರೋದನ್ನು 50 ರೂಪಾಯಿ, 40 ರೂಪಾಯಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಆವಾಗಿನ ರೇಟ್ಗಳೇನಿತ್ತು ಇವಾಗಿನ ಒಂದು ರೇಟ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಜನರಿಗೂ ಭಾರ ಅಂತ ಏನಲ್ಲ, ಆದರೆ ಒಂದು ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಏನು ಆ ಯೂಸರ್ ಚಾರ್ಜಸ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಒಂದು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಅದು ಹೊರೆ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋಂಥ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇರುವಂಥದ್ದು. ಅದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಅನಿಸುತ್ತೆ ಇದೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಏನು ವಿಷಯ ಏನಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮತ್ತು ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನನಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಪರಿಷ್ಕರಣೆ ಹಿಂದೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ವಾಟರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವ, ವಾಟರ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ, ಕರೆಂಟ್ ರೇಟ್ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ವಾ, ಈ ಮತ್ತು ಬೇರೆದೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಈ ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ಇದು ಅನಾವಶ್ಯಕ. ಇದು ಭಾಳ ವರ್ಷಗಳ ಹಿಂದೆ ಇದ್ದಂಥ ಒಂದು ಏನು ರೇಟ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
Treatment cost at hospitals across the state of Karnataka, that cost has been hiked by 10 to 30%. The minister is now saying that it is not something which people should be worried about. These are affordable prices, but there will be politics that will be played because the BJP. My colleague Sagai is now joining me on the story. Sagai, it seems like the finances of the state of Karnataka unfortunately are not in place. Earlier, the government had levied a cess on water bills, and now this issue is all set to become political. Can you hear me, Sagai? We'll try and reconnect with my colleague Sagai. At the moment, it seems like the finances of the state of Karnataka are not in place. Earlier, the government had levied a cess on the water bill. Now, this issue is all set to become political because the BJP time and again has been pointing fingers at the Congress guarantees that they have given in the state. My colleague Sagai is now joining me on the story. Sagai, this issue will definitely become political. The BJP will now point fingers at the Congress party and say that you are doing all this just because you cannot fulfill the guarantees that you gave.
Absolutely. BJP will try to take political mileage out of this situation. But Dinesh Gundu Rao, who is the health minister, has categorically mentioned that these are prices which have been fixed at government hospital. It is there for a long time. It is more than a decade right now. And he says that the cost of living has changed drastically from then to now. And he has also justified saying that the charges, to say the increased prices in all these government hospitals are minimal. For an example, wherever they have collected 10 rupees, now they'll be collecting 20 rupees. Wherever they have collected 20 rupees, they might collect now around 40 to 50 rupees. So these are the charges, and these are available for the people, according to Dinesh Gundu Rao. And he has also mentioned that whenever we try to increase the prices, the people target our government, stating that because of guarantees has been implemented, the government doesn't have money, and that is the reason they are increasing the prices. And he has given instances where even in the past, especially the previous governments, have also increased just because now the guarantee schemes have been implemented. They are targeting the Congress government. So we need to wait and watch how the BJP is going to take this forward, whether they will trying to cash in the situation and slam Karnataka Congress government on these medical charges which has been increased in the government hospitals.
But, Sagai, questions definitely will be raised because we have seen, almost every month something or the other is being increased, some kind of cess is being levied. So the question that everyone is now asking is what's the need that over the past so many months on different things, be it water, be it now hospital bill, you are seeing the tax being increased even if the percentage is not a lot.
So if you notice that the Karnataka government have also increased cesses on water, and thereafter it is still under consideration and it has not been implemented so far. And there were also reports of electricity bills which has been increased, but the government has justified that it was being done by the previous government. And there were a few other charges which have been increased, and now it has come ultimately on government hospitals where they have increased the prices of the medical charges. As I told you earlier, the health minister of Karnataka, Dinesh Gundu Rao, has categorically mentioned that these are prevailing from a long time. For an example, 10 rupees charges at a Victoria hospital is there for more than a decade right now, more than a decade or 2 decades. But they have never increased. Those charges were fixed at that point of time. The cost of living was very less. Now it has been increased, and even the medical charges have been increased. So they have justified this, but they claim that these are affordable charges for the people, where 20 rupees or 50 rupees doesn't make any big difference.
Thank you, Sagai, for giving us those details. Karnataka government has now increased the prices from 10 to 30% on the bills that you will have to pay for government hospitals. We are moving now to the state of Maharashtra, where there is a big controversy which has now erupted. Now, this is with regards to the crypto funds that have been used in Maharashtra elections. On one hand, we have the Enforcement Directorate that has recorded the statements of the audit company employees in the Bitcoin scam. On the other hand, the CBI has also asked the employees to appear for questioning. The Enforcement Directorate questioned Gautam Mehta, and recorded his statement during all the searches that it conducted. Now, in some of the seizures, some of the computers and digital devices have been taken into account. The Enforcement Directorate officials also said that the agency has now widened its ongoing money laundering probe in the Bitcoin asset Ponzi scam and is now investigating the links that Gautam Mehta has with some of the politicians. They are also saying some of the bureaucrats are also involved in the entire scam. My colleague Vidya is now joining me on the story. Vidya, the elections are over, the results are yet to come, but this is something which has now opened a Pandora's box. On one side, you have the Enforcement Directorate recording statements. On the other side, it is the CBI which is now issuing summons.
And remember, both these things are being done in a case which has actually been revived. Remember, these cases were actually registered a few years ago. And the investigation in this had already begun at that time. The agencies did not really pursue it much then. But now with the new latest allegations and revelations of some more, these audio recordings, the entire investigation has been revived again. And that's where the statements of all these people are being recorded. It is being said that this entire scam amounts to about 6,600 crores. And that's one of the reasons why during elections, there could be a repercussion, and that money that had been laundered was apparently allegedly used in the elections. Is something that is being alleged against some of the people and with political connections, and that's why this investigation takes prime importance at this juncture.
Thank you, Vidya, for giving us those details. Even though the elections in the state of Maharashtra are over, it is the investigation which has just begun. Bharatiya Janata Party raising fingers at Supriya Sule and Nana Patole and saying that both of them were involved in a big Bitcoin scam. Big political war is escalating over the alleged Bitcoin scam in the state of Maharashtra. The BJP is leaving no stone unturned. They are targeting Sharad Pawar's daughter, Supriya Sule, and Congress's president, Nana Patole. Congress's Maharashtra president, Nana Patole. Both of them are being accused of conspiring with the former police commissioner and also with a dealer to indulge in illegal Bitcoin transactions to sway the Maharashtra elections in favor of the Maha Aghadi. Supriya Sule is denying BJP's charges and saying that it is not her voice that we can hear in the audio file. She has accused the BJP of indulging in cheap politics. She even has gone ahead and filed a defamation case against BJP MP Sudhanshu Trivedi. On the other side, the Enforcement Directorate carried out raids in Ranchi. The CBI has also begun an investigation in the Bitcoin scam. The amount at the moment is 6,600 crore rupees. The CBI has also filed a case against two masterminds and has also called people for questioning.
This is the residence of Gautam Mehta in Raipur. Along with this property, several other properties are being raided constantly as we speak. And in fact, this is the residence where his family members are currently residing. And you see all the footwears at his doorstep. These are the footwears of ED officials who are constantly raiding this particular property and trying to quiz the family members about the whereabouts of Gautam Mehta. All of it started when BJP leader Vinod Tavade was seen distributing crores of cash to people, and in retaliation, Bharatiya Janata Party also released an audio clip where Supriya Sule was allegedly heard giving instructions to certain people. After that, ED immediately came in the action mode and has reached Chhattisgarh. In fact, Mumbai ED came in contact with the officials in Chhattisgarh, and several officials of ED here in Raipur have been raiding, and this raid has been going on for the past 4 hours. And as you see, there are certain officials who are also sitting outside the residence of Gautam Mehta in an SUV. This is Sumi Rajappan for India Today with video journalist Raghavendra Pandey from Chhattisgarh.
जांच एजेंसियां अपना कार्य कर रही हैं। छत्तीसगढ़ में आज कुछ छापे पड़े हैं और जांच एजेंसियों को अपना काम करने देना चाहिए। उसके बाद यह दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा। मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रकार के गंभीर आरोपों के बारे में जो भी तथ्य प्रकाश में आए हैं उनकी तथ्यात्मक और विधि सम्मत जांच होनी चाहिए। इसको लेकर यदि कोई राजनीतिक मुद्दा बनाना चाहता है तो मुझे लगता है कि वह जांच को भटकाने या दबाव में लेने अथवा जो विसिल ब्लोवर्स हैं अर्थात जिन्होंने इस विषय को उठाया है उनको दबाव में लेने का यह प्रयास है।
News that's coming in. It is the United States that has now charged billionaire Gautam Adani with defrauding investors, hiding a plan to bribe Indian officials. Indian businessman Gautam Adani, who is one of the world's richest person, has now been indicted in the United States on charges that he duped investors by concealing that his company's huge solar energy project in the subcontinent was being facilitated by an alleged bribery scheme. The Congress has now slammed this, and they said the indictment of Gautam Adani and others by the Securities and Exchange Commission of the United States vindicates the demand that the Indian National Congress has been making since January 2023, that there has to be a joint parliamentary committee that should investigate into all the schemes that have been launched by Gautam Adani. My colleague Rohit Sharma is now joining me from the United States. Rohit, this is a big thing coming in from the United States. They are now saying, in fact, the Securities and Exchange Commission now pointing fingers at Gautam Adani.
Absolutely. I think it's very shocking that they were able to do this today in the sense that it is still alleged. There are no evidence, hard evidence that were presented, but it's still alleged that, he was able to raise millions of dollars. And he was doing so to be able to make sure that his project gets through and it gets approved by Indian authorities. And it talks about $250 million that allegedly was paid or was going to be paid to Indian officials in the government. So a very, very shocking indictment from Security and Exchange Commission. Also, the FBI was involved. And they also have filed in a court document. And basically, there's a civil aspect to it and there's a criminal aspect to it. And look, just to break down for our own viewers, there's a Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, which is called FCPA. And at the heart of it is Gautam Adani's company allegedly raising money in the US and using that money to bribe officials in India. And I think that is what, the violation of the law is. And this is very, very interesting because it's been going on for 2 years, as you stated out. But for them to go and file it and, name Gautam Adani is definitely sending a lot of shockwaves here in the US.
Rohit, not just in the US, we will see ramifications of this even in India, because we are seeing the main opposition parties in India. Specifically the Congress party has been time and again saying that now it is the parliament that now needs to make sure that all the schemes and the workings of Adani are investigated. And with this response coming in from the United States, it seems like we will have a ripple effect.
It definitely will. I just...
Rohit, please stay on with me. Manikam Tagore from the Congress party is now joining me. Mr. Tagore, a very, something which the BJP has been saying is right, but the Congress has been saying that this should be made since January 2023, has been calling for a joint parliamentary committee investigation. Do you believe the Congress will now go ahead with the demand for the JPC?
Yeah, we had been very clear from the beginning that Gautam Adani's way of doing business has many kind of support from Mr. Modi, and the way they had been doing it here in Gujarat as well as across India for the past 10 years, or completely India's wealth has been given to Adani and its group. And we had been asking for many times we had raised it in Parliament for a JPC, particularly previous one session completely got washed out because of JPC from the India Alliance parties. And now after this thing also, the US Security and Exchange Commission of US indicates the demand that Congress party has been making since January 2023 for a JPC. And regarding the Modi and Adani scams, Congress party has asked many questions about various dimensions of these scams and the nexus that has been existed between Mr. Modi and Mr. Adani. These questions have remained unanswered. The SEC's actions also cast poor light on the manner in which Indian counterpart, namely the SEBI, has gone about investigating violations of securities. And we all know that for the PAC meeting, where the SEBI chairman was called as a witness, the BJP members they only accepted it first for the SEBI chairperson to be called. But BJP members then protested and they justified her absence from from appearing before a parliamentary committee, which has never been like this. These kind of violations of securities and other laws by Adani and abject failure to hold the group to account for the source of its investments and shell companies continues.
Right.
And the Congress party has been demanding for a JPC into the transactions of Adani Group, which is leading to growing monopolization in key sectors of Indian economy. And we will continue to rise for the JPC in India and in the coming parliament session also. Congress party will continue to raise that.
Well, this is a very important point that you are making, Mr. Tagore. Will the demand for the JPC be still on? Because come Monday, we will see the beginning of the parliamentary session.
Yeah, Congress party will continue to raise these issues because Congress party in the Maharashtra campaign, in Jharkhand campaign and others, we have been, our Congress party's campaign has been that the way Adani has been provided safe passage and easy access to all the wealth of India, particularly real estate, all kind of rules have been broken, and the way they have been handing over, Modi has been handing over the wealth of India is a great issue for India as well as for every Indian citizen. Therefore, we will continue to rise for a JP.
Thank you, Mr. Tagore. Manikam Tagore, Congress MP, now saying that they will once again raise the demand that there should be a joint parliamentary committee that should look into all the transactions that are being done by the Adani Group. News that's coming in. It is Dominica that has conferred Prime Minister Narendra Modi with its top award. Prime Minister Modi received the Dominica Award of Honor. Now, this is a mark of gratitude for helping the Caribbean country during its fight against COVID-19. The award was conferred on Prime Minister Modi when he was part of the India-CARICOM summit. A statement from Dominican President's office said that it was in February 2021 that Prime Minister Modi supplied the country with 70,000 doses of AstraZeneca, a vaccine which the country said was a very generous gift, and this enabled Dominica to extend the support to its Caribbean neighbors. Colleague Gaurav Sawant is now joining me on the story. Gaurav, we have seen how there has been a personal relationship that Prime Minister Modi shares with almost all the world leaders, and now we are seeing Dominica conferring Prime Minister with its top award.
So Dominica becomes the 19th country in the world to honor Prime Minister Narendra Modi with their top honors. And if you look at the entire globe, when Dominica does that, it talks about how India helped Dominica during one of its toughest phases, and that was during the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, you and I have covered how a number of countries believed in vaccine nationalism and how they were keeping vaccines very close, to their chests when the world needed the COVID-19 vaccine. Countries like China, countries even in the West, they were keeping all the COVID vaccines with them. They were not sharing it, or they were only giving it to very close treaty allies. It was India that shared COVID-19 vaccines very extensively, when they were even required in India, especially with countries, especially with developing countries, following that principle and policy of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the entire world is one family. You've seen instances of prime ministers touching Prime Minister Narendra Modi's feet because they said, in our toughest hour, you were with us when the Prime Minister visited the Pacific Islands. And now you're seeing, whether it's Dominica or Guyana, several countries are awarding Prime Minister Narendra Modi their top honors because India helped their people survive and, wait through the tough COVID times together. It just goes on to show that India's civilizational principles are working globally. Aishwarya.
Thank you, Gaurav. My colleague Gaurav putting everything in perspective and also very importantly mentioning that this is the 19th country that has conferred Prime Minister Modi with its highest honor. News that's coming in from the war front that is taking place between Ukraine and Russia. This massive escalation in the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukraine has now fired UK's Storm Shadow into Russia. Ukraine's armed forces fired British cruise missiles at the military targets inside Russia for the first time since the war began. This development comes after US supplied long-range army tactical missile systems and struck targets inside Russia. Now, this is the support that the United States as well as the United Kingdom, they have been giving to Ukraine. And now we are seeing it is Ukraine that has fired British cruise missiles at military targets inside Russia.
Друге, є новий пакет підтримки від Америки, обсяг 275 мільйонів доларів. В пакеті безпілотники, снаряди для хаймарсів та артилерії. Дуже важливо міни, щоб зупиняти російські штурми. Це дійсно посилить наших хлопців на фронті. І це вже 70-й оборонний пакет від Сполучених Штатів Америки. Україна цінує двопартійну підтримку Америки і рішення президента Байдена. Дякую. Третє. Говорив сьогодні з прем'єр-міністром Польщі Дональдом Туском, подякував за всю надану підтримку від перших днів вторгнення.
Now we are seeing that a big development is coming on the war front now. It is the United States missiles that have been fired by Ukraine. And this is the first time that we have now seen how, in fact, the war has now reached the 1000th day. Now, this actually has become Europe's deadliest war since World War II, leaving human and economic scars on both the sides. And at the moment, it seems like there's no de-escalation coming from either side.
Ой, у лузі червона калина похилила на Україна.
Kiev residents and Ukrainian servicemen lit 1,000 candles beneath the city's towering Ukrainian motherland monument statue on Tuesday. Ukrainians marked 1,000 days since Russia's full-scale invasion on 24th February 2022.
1,000 days is not just a number. It is 1,000 days of struggle. Struggle, indomitability and unity.
Relatives of Ukrainian prisoners of war gathered at a rally in Kiev on Tuesday to remember their loved ones.
I'm waiting for my husband and his 75 brothers in arms to return from captivity. They were taken prisoner at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. You can say that our lives have stopped. Without our close ones, it's simply stopped. How can one bomb its brotherly country, Ukraine, sitting in Moscow? Firing S-200 and S-300 missiles, Grad rockets at defenseless people? I never expected Putin to do such a terrible thing to his brotherly Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky presented a resilience plan in the parliament.
In decisive moments, and they will come next year, we must ensure that no one in the world doubts the resilience of our entire nation. At this stage of the war, the question is, who will prevail? Ukrainians, Europeans, and everyone in the world who wants to live freely and not under the rule of a single dictator.
The Ukrainian president expects the pivotal moments for Ukraine to be in 2025, and till then he warned his country to remain steadfast and resilient.
This battle is not just about Pokrovsk, Kupiansk, or any of our Ukrainian cities, towns or villages. It's not just about one region or another. This battle is about all of Ukraine. It's a battle for all of Europe, for order or chaos for the entire world. And while the whole world waits for a miracle from Trump, God's mercy, we cannot afford to wait. We must not lose our resilience. We must work hard.
Ukraine plans reforms in the military, frontline strategies, weapons production, economic strengthening, energy security, cultural sovereignty, and memorialization policy of those killed in the war. The plan to be tabled in the parliament in December will include the creation of a military ombudsman position and a new system of military contracts. There are no plans to lower the mobilization age, and priority in weapons production will focus on drones as they compensate for ammunition shortages. Ukraine plans to produce at least 30,000 long-range drones and aims to manufacture 3,000 long-range missiles in the next year.
The full internal resilience plan for our state, along with all its appendices, will be presented and delivered this December. The key focus is true resilience for Ukraine. 1,000 days of war, 1,000 days since Ukrainians punched Putin in the mouth. We must bring this war to an end, and to end it on just terms, but in such a way that even a toothless Putin never returns to Ukraine again.
A day after the US Embassy in Kiev received information of a potential significant air attack, it shut down.
I got used to it. We are students and we live in the university dormitory. So every time air raid siren goes off, we go to the shelter.
Are you expecting anything unusual today?
I don't know.
I think yes, I am very scared today. Many Telegram channels warned about possible air raid alerts and urged to act accordingly.
Ukraine's air defense units repelled a Russian air attack on Kiev early on Wednesday morning. It was another anxious day in Kiev.
I have my grab bag ready. I live nearby. I'm ready and I'm worried. But I think it will be fine because our armed forces are the best. Everything will be fine. I hope so.
And the war goes on in Ukraine.
Now, bypolls on 9 seats in the state of Uttar Pradesh were held yesterday, and it was the Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav who shared a video where the police could be seen asking voters not to cast their votes. The Election Commission of India has denied all the claims, and they have ensured that there is free and fair elections taking place. Many of the police personnel across the state of Uttar Pradesh yesterday were suspended from duty. Now, there's a report that my colleague Samarth Srivastava, who was on the ground, is bringing you. Watch this report.
Uttar Pradesh police under fire faced charges of intimidating voters during the by-elections held on Wednesday. Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav shared a video of police allegedly threatening voters in Mirapur assembly seat. The opposition party claimed their supporters were being prevented from voting. The authorities denied the charge. In a statement, Muzaffarnagar district magistrate said there was stone pelting on the police in Kakroli village. The security team cracked down to control the situation. There was confrontation in Sisamau Assembly constituency as well. The Samajwadi Party alleged the police were creating obstacles for minority community voters.
देखिए कैसे मारा जा रहा है वोटर्स को। आप डराओगे, वोटर्स को डराएंगे, उनका मताधिकार छीनना चाहते हैं। ये हो रहा है और ये भी नेम अपना नेम स्लिप हटा के मार रहे हैं ताकि आप जो है उनका नाम नहीं मेंशन कर पाएंगे।
The BJP on the other hand claimed irregularities. The party candidate claimed his vehicle was targeted by stone pelters.
इतने बड़े ये बहादुर नहीं है कि सामने आकर चल जाए। आप सब पीछे से वार करना इनकी हरकत में है। हार की बौखलाहट है। समाजवादी पार्टी हार रही है तो गुंडाई पर उतरी है। आप लोगों से निवेदन है कि आप इसकी जांच उच्च अधिकारियों से मैं भी बात करूंगा, आप लोग भी बताइए।
Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav urged the Election Commission to act against errant officials.
भाजपा हार के डर से प्रशासन पर बेईमानी करने का दबाव बना रही है। मैं अपने मतदाताओं से अपील करूंगा, एक नहीं कई बार वोट डालने के लिए जाएं, डटे रहें और वोट डालकर ही आएं।
Acting on the Samajwadi Party's complaints, the EC suspended 2 police officials. Voting was held in 9 assembly constituencies in Uttar Pradesh on Wednesday. With Samarth Srivastava, Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, after many weeks of very high voltage poll election, the state of Maharashtra is now awaiting the big verdict that will come on the 23rd of November. Voting in Maharashtra Assembly elections concluded on Wednesday with an average voter turnout recorded at 58.25%. All the eyes are now on the voting trends in the state of Maharashtra. Will it be the Maha or will it be the BJP-led Maha that will secure a majority? Most of the exit polls have predicted that at the moment the lead is with the Maha alliance, while there is only one poll that has predicted that it is the opposition, that is the Maha Agadi, which has an edge in the state of Maharashtra. In fact, the Maha has a better voter turnout this election, and they are thinking that this actually points towards the fact that it will be the Maha that will be winning. But the Maha Agadi leaders are saying that the state of Maharashtra has now voted for change this time, and it is their alliance that is all set to win a majority on Saturday.
लगता है कि जब जब वोटिंग परसेंटेज बढ़ता है तो बीजेपी को ही उसका फायदा होता है। तो मैं ऐसा मानता हूं कि निश्चित रूप से ये जो बढ़ा हुआ वोटिंग परसेंटेज है ये बीजेपी और हमारे अलायंस के लिए, महायुति के लिए ये फायदा हमको देगा और इसका फायदा हमको होगा।
मुझे यकीन है कि इस इलेक्शन में महायुति सरकार को और एक बार सत्ता में आएगी, एक हैट्रिक मिलने जा रही है। सीटों पे मैं कह नहीं सकता हूं, लेकिन एक कंफर्टेबल मेजॉरिटी से महायुति सरकार जीत जाएगी।
महाराष्ट्र में ग्राउंड रियलिटी अलग है। महाराष्ट्र में बीजेपी के और उनके अलायंस के बारे में लोगों में गुस्सा था और गुस्सा लोगों ने पूरा ताकत के साथ वोट के माध्यम से सरकार पे उतारा है। आपने देखा होगा कि वोट परसेंटेज भी बहुत बड़ा है। महाराष्ट्र में पार्लियामेंट से भी वोट परसेंटेज बढ़ा हुआ है।
Maha Agadi is very confident in forming a government in Maharashtra. Really speaking, the people are totally against the present-day government at the center and the state. Exit polls are not reflecting the reality in the grassroots level. Last parliament election, nobody projected or nobody said that the Maha Agadi is going to get 31 out of 48 seats. So people's sentiments are with us.
एग्जिट पोल पर कितना विश्वास करना है, नहीं करना है, तो जनता के विवेक बुद्धि पर हम छोड़ते हैं। लेकिन महाराष्ट्र में एक बात तय हो चुका है कि महा विकास आघाड़ी की पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार आ रही है। महाराष्ट्र का एग्जिट पोल उसी दिन आ गया था जब 2022 में 20 जून को गद्दारी हुई थी, एक चलती सरकार को गिराई गई थी, पीठ पर छुरा भोंका गया था। उसी दिन महाराष्ट्र का एग्जिट पोल आ गया था।
News coming in from the state of Maharashtra now. There has been an EVM hangama at midnight that took place in Maharashtra's Amravati region. Uddhav Thackeray Shiv Sena's former candidate is now claiming 4 EVM machines were taken away on 2 two-wheelers. Workers created a ruckus late night right outside the Rajiv Gandhi Vidyalaya in Amravati. Now this is the EVM drama that is unfolding the night when the elections got over. Visuals that you are seeing on your screens are coming in from Amravati. The candidates are now claiming the EVM machines have been moved away. You can see in the visuals the candidates, the supporters of the candidates along with the police personnel present right outside the strong room. Now this is the midnight EVM hangama that unfolded in Amravati in the state of Maharashtra. Candidate is claiming 4 EVM machines taken away on 2-wheelers. The room that you are seeing, that's the strong room. That's where EVMs are stored after the election gets over. Bharatiya Janata Party, which has been accusing Maha Agadi leaders, both Supriya Sule and Nana Patole, of laundering money through Bitcoin to fund their election campaigns. Now, the BJP has released a very explosive audio clip of both the leaders. But the big question is, are these clips actually authentic? In fact, India Today's exclusive investigation, where we used advanced AI detection tools, is actually casting a doubt on the validity of these audio clips, which have been released by the BJP. Take a look.
A Bitcoin Audiogate war rocks Maharashtra. On the night before Wednesday's polling, the BJP, armed with audio clips and text messages, accused top Maha Agadi netas Supriya Sule and Nana Patole of laundering money via Bitcoin to fund the election campaign.
जब वो अधिकारी पुनः अविश्वास व्यक्त करता है तो वो कहता है कि मैं आपको ऑडियो क्लिप भेज रहा हूं, आप इसको सुनिए, आपको स्वतः समझ में आ जाएगा। और उस ऑडियो क्लिप में डीलर के दावे के अनुसार वह साफ साफ कहा जा रहा है कि इलेक्शन के लिए हमें पैसा चाहिए और इंक्वायरी की आप चिंता मत करिए, सरकार आएगी तो हम देख लेंगे।
Claiming that the two netas encashed the cryptocurrency for cash, and that former top cop Amitabh Gupta allegedly deployed an audit employee to retrieve the cash, and that it was this auditor, Gaurav Mehta of Sarathi firms, who encashed the cryptocurrency.
Boss Gaurav, what's happening? None of you people are responding. Don't play games with me at all. Gupta is vanished, but what happens to money then? He says all bitcoins and cash is with you. Elections are going on. Boss, why don't you go ahead and cash out all the bitcoins? The prices are favorable right now, and with the elections approaching, we're going to need substantial funds. Don't worry about the inquiries. Once we're in power, we'll handle them.
अमिताभ पैसे का किया हुआ कल बोला था ना, ऐसे मस्ती मत करो।
But are these clips genuine? Is this really Supriya Sule? India Today's OSINT team took a deep dive into this scandal with an exclusive investigation using 3 AI detection tools. The first tool, True Media Detector, says there is substantial evidence of all 4 notes being AI generated. But it was less certain about the audio clip purported to be Nana Patole. On Deepfakeometer, 4 of the detectors were over 80% confident of Supriya Sule, Amitabh Gupta and Gaurav Mehta's alleged audio samples being AI generated. But again, the confidence level was comparatively lower for the alleged Nana Patole audio sample. And finally, Hia's deepfake voice detector said Supriya Sule, Amitabh Gupta and Gaurav Mehta's alleged samples were AI generated. But this tool too was uncertain about Nana Patole's alleged voice.
When we ran our samples through these tools declared all these samples to be AI generated and said that there is substantial evidence to say that these are indeed synthetic samples.
Right.
Now, coming to Haya,
Yes.
in this case also, this tool was a little bit less confident about the Nana Patole sample. And speaking about the third tool, Deepfakeometer, when we ran our 4 samples through this tool, it declared that 3 of the samples are likely AI generated.
The NCP MP in the eye of this storm, Supriya Sule, reacted to the OSINT investigation, calling the BJP released clips malicious and a false campaign.
The minute I got that audio sound, I sent it immediately. I spoke to the police commissioner of Pune and I launched a complaint against cyber crime because I know that it is all completely fake. Politics can't go down to such a level where we make nasty, fake allegations against each other.
While the Congress's Nana Patole too has threatened legal action.
ऑडियो में मेरी आवाज़ भी नहीं है और ये बिटकॉइन जो है, मैं तो किसान आदमी हूँ, मेरे को तो दूर दूर तक ये लाइन में मैं नहीं हूँ, मेरे को तो कभी इससे संबंध भी नहीं है। लेकिन हमने अभी कानूनन नोटिस उनको दिया है, कल एफआईआर भी दर्ज हमने किया है रात को और कानून नोटिस भी देंगे। इनके ऊपर एक मानहानि का दावा भी हम करेंगे।
With polling done, the votes are locked. But with just 48 hours to go for verdict in Maharashtra, could the Bitcoin scandal become a bigger flashpoint? With Ankit Kumar and Jyoti Dwivedi, Bureau Report, India Today.
The top story we are following here on India Today is the crypto fund scam that has now come to the fore from the state of Maharashtra. Now, it is the Enforcement Directorate that has recorded the statement of the audit company employee in the Bitcoin scam. It is also the CBI that has asked him to appear before the CBI. The ED has questioned Mehta and recorded its statement during all the searches that took place. The Enforcement Directorate also seized some of the computers and digital devices. The Enforcement Directorate officials said the agency has widened its ongoing money laundering probe in the Bitcoin asset Ponzi scam and is also investigating the link that Mehta had with some of the politicians. Some bureaucrats at the moment are also being involved. My colleague Vidya is now joining me on the story. Vidya, from the Enforcement Directorate to the CBI, we are seeing the central agencies now investigating the matter. It's also very, very political in nature. At the moment, the Enforcement Directorate believes that close to 6,000 crore rupees were being transferred in the form of bitcoins.
But yes, CBI has registered the FIR against Amit Bhardwaj and Ajay Bhardwaj, who they believe are the mastermind of this Bitcoin scam, which is worth about 6,600 crores according to the agency so far. In this particular case, Gautam Mehta had been summoned by the CBI. Initially, there were FIRs against Bhardwaj brothers in Delhi, Pune and few other places for cheating investors. But this money has allegedly found, according to the ED, had been layered and found to be transferred to various accounts that could belong to a lot of other people who were politically connected. And that's one of the reasons why this investigation is of quite importance. And right now, you can see that since ED has registered the case, it is also based on the case of the economic offense. And both these agencies are right now investigating this case.
Right.
And it will only be in some day that will really let to know as to whether some more arrests are made, what really are the statements given by these people according to which the ED action will further be undertaken.
Thank you, Vidya, for giving us those details. It is the Enforcement Directorate which has now raided the audit firm where the employee Gaurav Mehta used to work. Now, with regards to the Bitcoin scam, there is a big political war also that is now taking place in the state of Maharashtra. And it is the BJP that is leaving no stone unturned to target NCP Sharad Pawar's Supriya Sule and Congress's Nana Patole. Now, both are being accused of conspiring with the former police commissioner and a dealer to indulge in illegal Bitcoin transactions to sway the Maharashtra election outcome in the favor of the Maha Agadi. Now, Supriya Sule has denied BJP's charges. She is saying that it is not her voice, which one can hear in the audio file, and is also accusing the BJP of indulging in cheap politics. She has even gone ahead and filed a defamation case against BJP MP Sudhanshu Trivedi. On the other side, it is the Enforcement Directorate that is now carrying out raids in Ranchi. The CBI has also begun an investigation in the Bitcoin scam. At the moment, the amount is roughly 6,000 crore rupees. The CBI has also filed a case against two masterminds and called one another for questioning over the Supreme Court order.
Why झाली पाहिजे आणि
जांच एजेंसियां अपना कार्य कर रही हैं। छत्तीसगढ़ में आज कुछ छापे पड़े हैं और जांच एजेंसियों को अपना काम करने देना चाहिए। उसके बाद यह दूध का दूध पानी का पानी हो जाएगा। मुझे लगता है कि इस प्रकार के गंभीर आरोपों के बारे में जो भी तथ्य प्रकाश में आए हैं उनकी तथ्यात्मक और विधि सम्मत जांच होनी चाहिए। इसको लेकर यदि कोई राजनीतिक मुद्दा बनाना चाहता है तो मुझे लगता है कि वह जांच को भटकाने या दबाव में लेने अथवा जो विसिल ब्लोवर्स हैं अर्थात जिन्होंने इस विषय को उठाया है उनको दबाव में लेने का यह प्रयास है।
Now listening to the audio which was released by the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP is now claiming both Supriya Sule and Nana Patole are involved in this case. Listen in.
I clearly said yesterday when it was first sent to me, the first reaction that I had was rush to cyber crime. The minute I got that audio sound, I sent it immediately. I spoke to the police commissioner of Pune and I launched a complaint against cyber crime because I know that it is all completely fake and malicious. So it's not nice. I mean, I would say that I would defend anybody in my fraternity or any fraternity. This politics can't go down to such a level where we make nasty, fake allegations against each other. So I would even defend somebody from the who's opposing me, because I believe in a fair system. It has to be fair and transparent. Hence, I reached out to the police and asked them to quickly file an FIR because this is fake. That's the first thing that I did. And second, after the BJP made the allegations, the fake allegations against me, I have sent a notice to them. They're defaming me, so I've sent them a defamation notice.
News that's coming in. It is the United States that has now charged billionaire Gautam Adani with an indictment. Now, report coming to the fore says that it is Gautam Adani who defrauded investors and also hid the plan that he was bribing Indian officials. Now, the Indian businessman, who's one of the world's richest people, have been indicted in the United States on charges that he duped investors by concealing that his company's huge solar energy project in the subcontinent was being facilitated by an alleged illegal bribery scheme. The Congress has slapped the report, and they have said that the indictment of Gautam Adani and others by the Securities Exchange Commission of the US now vindicates what the Congress has been saying since January 2023. And the Congress is all set to make sure that they raise up the issue, that there has to be a joint parliamentary committee which should be set up, and it should be looking into the working of the Adani Group. The winter session of the parliament begins from Monday, that is the 25th of November, and the Congress is all set to rake up this issue. MP Manikam Chego, listen in.
We had been very clear from the beginning that Gautam Adani's way of doing business has many kind of support from Mr. Modi, and the way they had been doing it here in Gujarat as well as across India for the past 10 years, or completely India's wealth has been given to Adani and its group. And now, after this thing also, the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission of U.S. indicates the demand that Congress Party has been making since January 2023 for a JPC. And regarding the Modi and Adani scams, Congress Party has asked many questions about various dimensions of these scams and the nexus that has been existed between Mr. Modi and Mr. Adani. These questions have remained unanswered.
My colleague Siddharth Zarabi is now joining me on the story. Siddharth, the first question: how will this impact the Indian business sentiment? How will this impact the markets?
Well, very clearly we are waiting for the markets to open, but this is likely to have some sort of impact as far as the shares of the Adani Group are concerned, because of the nature of the indictment and the allegations that are contained in it. In the past also, when we have seen the Hindenburg report being released, stocks of the Adani Group had been very adversely impacted. A very significant portion of its market cap was eroded, and as we are minutes away from the opening of the market, we will see definitely some sort of impact on the Adani stocks. Remember, in the recent past, we have seen Indian markets under pressure on account of the outflow of money by foreign institutional investors.
So that, questions will also be now raised, and this actually will become very political. The winter session begins on the 25th, which means that coming Monday is when the session begins. We will see the Congress also now saying that we have been raising this issue, and with this kind of report coming in nonetheless from the United States of America, from what it seems like at the moment, Siddharth, the group will be under pressure.
Very clearly, there are 2 or 3 issues arising out of the main news development, and the key point here is what will the group say in clarification to this indictment? That's number one. We are awaiting clarifications from the group or a response of sorts on what is happened. What are the issues that arise out of it? The first is very clearly what will be the impact as far as fundraising efforts are concerned. Any large business group which may have its roots in India but with business linkages that are spread globally, business is global, the first issue that arises is fundraising. That is, apart from what legal defense will have to be mounted by the group to mitigate the impact arising out of such a serious set of allegations. And as we have seen in the past, that if a group is accused, then fundraising as well as participation in various government contracts also comes under question. So we are awaiting clarity in this regard. There is also an element of US law with regard to shareholder protection that I guess will get triggered, and we will have to wait for those details to emerge in the next few hours.
Thank you, Siddharth. Siddharth Zorabi joining me and saying that now at the moment what we'll have to do is wait and watch. No response, no official response from the Adani Group, but Congress now pointing fingers and saying we have been demanding a JPC, a Joint Parliamentary Committee, to be set up, and come winter session, that will be the main demand of the Congress party. News that's coming in from the state of Karnataka now. The medical facilities across the state will now get costlier. The OPD, the IPD charges at major government hospitals across the state of Karnataka are set to get costlier. The treatment cost has been hiked by 10 to 30%. It is the BJP which has now slammed the Congress government, and they are saying hike because they failed to fulfill the promises. Karnataka Health Minister, however, downplays and says that this is very affordable. This is not a burden on the people. These are affordable prices. It's not a big issue. This is what the Karnataka Health Minister said. Listen in.
ಅದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಇದೇನು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಏನು ವಿಷಯ ಏನಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ನೋಡಿದೆ ಕೆಲವು ಕಡೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಮತ್ತೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮಿಂದ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇದು ನನಗೇನು ಅರ್ಥನೇ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವೇನು ಏನೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಇವತ್ತು ಗ್ಯಾರಂಟಿ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ದುಡ್ಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ.
Now, this is not the first time that we are seeing, prices being hiked and taxes being levied across the state of Karnataka. Just a couple of days ago, we did see how there was a cess that was being levied on all the water bills across the state of Karnataka. And that time too, the major opposition party in the state of Karnataka, the BJP, had said that this is being done because the Congress made a lot of promises, they gave a lot of guarantees, but none of those things could be fulfilled. And now it's the people who are made to suffer across the state of Karnataka. In fact, let me tell you, the Deputy Chief Minister of the state of Karnataka, D.K. Shivkumar, was in fact in Maharashtra. And he said that he will be inviting all the BJP leaders to come to the state of Karnataka to see how well all the guarantees have been implemented. My colleague Sagai is now joining me on the story. Sagai, medical facilities will get costlier. Now, one can debate whether they'll get very costly or whether it will be affordable. But the fact of the matter is that the prices will be increased between 10 to 30%.
As you rightly pointed out, the prices will be increased up to 10 to 100% because few prices has been increased 150%. For an example, 10 rupees charges the registration fees in the government hospital has been increased to 20 rupees, like 100% increase. But the health minister Dinesh Gundurao has justified this particular move, stating that these prices were raised a few years back, and there is huge difference between then and now. And these prices are affordable, and it is not going to have a huge burden on common people. But the question is, who are the people who visit government hospital most of the time? People who visit from the village, people who travel from their village to Bengaluru to get treatment at big hospital like Victoria Hospital here in the city. So these are the people who spend a lot of money on their traveling, come here and get admitted in the hospital, undergo treatment. And definitely these people, even if it is 10 rupees more for these medical charges, is going to be a burden. But we need to wait and watch how the opposition is going to take this forward, how they're going to catch in the situation, if they're going to slam the Karnataka Congress government on this increased prices.
Sagai, do you believe the kind of increase of taxes that we have seen across the state of Karnataka, do you believe it is because the guarantees are not fulfilled, or do you believe that the prices were not increased for quite some time and now because of rationalization we are seeing the increase in the prices?
If you notice, the Health Minister Dinesh Gundurao has categorically mentioned this has not been increased because of guarantee schemes. These are routine process. And he has also shared the instances where even in the past, the governments which were there in the power, they have also increased the prices of medical charges, and whereas the other department as well. And this is not something new. Just because the Karnataka Congress government has introduced these guarantee schemes, the opposition will target, saying that the government is spending a lot of money on this, and probably that is the reason that they are increasing prices on the other departments as well, especially the water